Hello, I wanted to make a quick video to help folks understand the process of exporting out um, your reference footage from SyncSketch with your drawovers that you can take back into Maya or whatever animation software you're working with. I'm going to show the process into Maya, talk about how to go about the best steps in doing so, and using this reference that I have here of this lady jumping. Found it on YouTube. Let's see, what was her name? Kathy Tan. If you want to check that out. But just talking about the processes that you would need to export this out and get into Maya. And it's kind of like a 3-step thing, but we'll go over it. First off, SyncSketch up the very top, we can say this download icon right next to set status is right to the right of it. You can say download video with sketches. It's going to generate the video. If it's a little bit larger of a file that you uploaded initially, this will take longer. Make sure that you're uploading lower quality file sizes or higher quality, but just low quality. Essentially, MP4s with H.264. It's always going to be your safe bet. I can see here, it's in my downloads folder. I just opened it, and now I've got this video. On SyncSketch, you may have to allow for pop-ups in order to get this video downloaded. I want to hop now over to Premiere, and I'm just going to say new file. I don't have to save this permanently. I'm not going to keep this. I'm just going to leave it untitled. I just do that for working files, for compositing a render, or doing stuff like this. And I will import that video, and I can just click and drag, and there we go. Now that I have it in my media here, just as a Premiere reminder, now I can click and drag this to a sequence, and I can now export this out for the file format I need. And as a quick note, what I just did here set my frame rate properly to the video that I have downloaded. So no matter what resource that you use, if you click and drag this to your sequence, the sequence that it creates will be set to the frame rate to match that video. So you should be really good on that front. And if you ever wanted to check it, you could right click it and say properties and just check out, hey, where is my FPS? 23.976, 24 drop frame. For now, that'll work. You can also see your frame up in the top right of the screen. This may vary ever so slightly. You can control click in Premiere, by the way, if you did not know, the time code here to get different time readings. So if I can hold control on my keyboard and click that, I can click through until it tells me just the frame. And you can see here in Premiere, I'm at frame 30. In SyncSketch, the video, the top right number is off by 1 digit. That's just because Premiere starts counting at 0 and SyncSketch starts counting at 1. I could just offset the video here if I so choose. I could just go 1 frame forward, essentially. I just need to zoom in to make sure it's only 1 frame. And let's just go forward to 1. There we go. So now if I scrub forward, they're aligned properly. This step is optional, but you kind of do want to do it, and I'm going to recommend doing it, and I'm going to talk about why here in a second. Real quick, just to note, this number at the bottom of the screen is the frame rate that this lady uploaded to YouTube that she added on as a time counter. Don't worry about that. I'm worried about the number in the top right. Might be a little tiny to read. Let me make this screen a little bit larger here. Right now we're on frame 16, and then lower left down here, you can see frame 16 as well. So I want to export this out, and I need to do this in a very particular way. So I'm going to say File Export Media, or Control M with the sequence selected down here for keyboard shortcut. I need to make sure to change my format. By default, it's going to say AVI, or you can say to match your sequence. That could be good if you were to export out a video, but for importing this into Maya, I don't want to do that. I instead want to have a sequence of images that Maya can read. Maya does not like videos. I wish that it did, but Autodesk does not listen to me or do what I want them to do. So instead, I'm going to open up this format window, and I'm going to find a image file type. PNG would work. What I found the best success with is targas. I just previously have had issues with a PNG, like once or twice, like probably a decade ago, and I just never went back to it. Just kind of continued use of targa. And then notice here the preset, it says targa sequence. That's perfect. That's exactly what we want. As far as the output location, so we can click the blue output name there. I can now navigate on my system to my documents folder, or more importantly, what I'm going to do is put this in my project folder. This is particularly what I'm working with today, but for you, wherever your project folder is, and it's going to go into source images, because source images are what we input into Maya. I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to say jump, I don't know, in all caps, jump reference sequence. Yep, sequence, cool. And then I'll just say open that up. And sometimes at the end of this, I like to add an underscore. Today, I'm going to leave it just as the same name here. In fact, I want to rename this to jump sequence. I'm not going to put any spaces, extra underscores, or anything. Hopefully this will work well for us today. Sometimes Premiere does Premiere things, and I like to add an extra underscore at the very end. Let's see what it gives us right now. But after I do that, all these other settings are default. That's fine. I can say export. It'll take it to export. Then we can, this is just the window saying, hey, that was successful. Then we can navigate on our system to that folder. So for me, that was in my class this semester. So character animation, and then I had it in our rigs that I was working with, source images and jump reference sequence. And there we go. So we now have, in fact, yeah, I definitely want to go back and re-render this. Here's the sequence. And let me talk briefly about why I want to re-render this. Notice at the end jump sequence, it immediately starts counting the frame number. So jump sequence 001, 002, like right after the word jump sequence. This can really confuse my ass. I'm going to delete those. I deleted those, and I'm going to go back and re-render this in Premiere. And here at the end, what I'm going to say is it's in the same location, so that's great. I'm going to give it the same name, jump sequence. I'm going to add an underscore at the end. And what that'll do is, and Premiere used to do this automatically. I don't know what changed. I don't know if I changed a setting, but I know a student has ran into this issue recently, so let's just talk about it. But the solution here is really straightforward, is to just add an underscore at the end of that and say export. It'll go through that process again. And now we have jump sequence underscore 00, 001, 002, and 3. And those are, if I were to open each individual one of these, would be just that particular frame. It's a target file. I'm not sure what default program is set to. I double clicked it, but I ain't gonna worry about it. We could also try to look at a preview view here in Windows, but I'm not too worried about that either. What I do recommend at this step is to delete frame 000. I just select that, and I'm going to select both that and this XMP file, and hit delete on my keyboard. That way we start at frame 001. And the reason for this the reason I did it this way, that I want to start at frame 0001 instead of 000, is not only in Premiere did I give myself that padding of a black frame, but additionally in Maya does not know how to start the sequence from 0. Maya knows how to start the sequence from 1. It's a weird thing, but it's pretty straightforward. That's all you need to know. It's just we don't need a 0 in Maya. We need a 1. So I'm going to hop over now to Maya, and I want to load this in. So if I remind myself of what the footage is, this is a side view. So I'm just going to go to the side view here, and I'm going to say, let's see, view, image plane, import image. My project is already set, so notice how it just pulled me up directly to this project source images folder, and there's my jump sequence. I can select jump sequence 000 or 001 and say open, and if I scrub my timeline, nothing, right? Not a video. So what we have to do is go to the attribute editor and use image sequence right here. This right under image plane attributes, this very first tab that should already be open. Just check on use image sequence. And now what Maya will do is reference that file and all of those images as a sequence and play those as we play it forward in our timeline. And if I remind myself, let's do this in Premiere, how many frames this was. Let's see, this was 103 frames. So I'm going to go back and increase my time range to 103 and increase the visibility there and just play through that. And now I have my footage in Maya. Looks like 103 was one frame, 2 extra, so let's just do 2. And And now I have exactly my footage and I'm ready to start animating. And all that's left now is to reference it in, reference in a rig rather, I should say. I can reposition this however I need. I can see it from perspective view. I can see it from all over. I always like to just add this up to a display layer, which you just select the image plane. Under your display layers over here, this far right button will create a new layer and assign selected objects. And we can rename this to reference. And I can hit save, and I can change the template mode to renderable. I think is what the R stands for. And it's this third button, VP, and then by default it'll be blank. Click it once to be template. Can't see the video. Click it twice to go to R for renderable or referenced. And I can now still see it. I still scrub through my time, but I can't actually select it as I'm working in my project. And notice here that if I go to frame 48, up in the top right corner, we're at frame 48. So this export sequence stays true. Again, this counter is just from her video on YouTube. This is the actual sync sketch counter in the top right corner. And this is a really great way to just export out our references from sync sketch into Maya. That way we can start animating with nice reference. We can check those poses. And go from there. I hope this helped. Feel free to reach out if you have any comments, questions, or concerns. I hope you have a nice day.